to England.
Jim Hawkins and Ben Gunn sailed back to England on the Jolly Roger. When they got to England, Jim showed his mother the piece of ring that he had earned for his great adventure.
She embraced her son and encouraged Jim to put the money right into his college fund.
That's the story of Treasure Island.
More or less.
Yarr! Thank you very much for joining us today, guys. We have one.
Well, hello everyone, Philosopher Stoner 666 here. So this is my room. You can see my dirty window. You can see artifact from China. You can see Ahmed the terrorist. You can see all my disorganized junk everywhere. So yeah, I got a comment on one of my last videos, Butt Banger, about people that smoke are idiots, and I couldn't agree more. It's really stupid to smoke. And there's actually some science behind that, well, I'm sort of paraphrasing and extrapolating and putting my own spin on the science, but university studies, I'd have to link a few in the description, but I'm probably too lazy. I'm probably not going to. I remember reading some studies, though, that talk about anxiety and social anxiety disorder, and in my case, I think I have a tiny bit of social anxiety disorder, but I've been diagnosed with this thing called ADHD, which at first I thought was bullshit. I thought it was like just another made-up thing, right? Because the industrial economy can't find a use for a person like me. They make it a condition. If it's of use to the industrial economy, it's not a condition. If you get where I'm going with this, so like we think certain people, XYZ people, are mentally ill. It's because they don't fit, they're not productive, they're not going to be compliant and follow orders and do what they're supposed to do. So therefore they're a problem, when in the past they wouldn't have necessarily been a problem. They would have been like a religious prophet or, whatever. They would have found their niche. And in the modern era, they can't necessarily find their niche. So anyways, that's a whole separate tangent rant, but I have this thing, ADHD, and like I said, at first I thought it was crap, but there is something to it. There's a disconnect when I do certain things, and more of a connection compared to other people when I do certain things. So like learning, let's say, it takes a couple of times, someone has to explain to me how to do something. A little task, like I recently bought one of these little cigarette rollers to roll joints, and I've been having trouble figuring out how to do that. Like eventually I'm going to figure out how to do it, but it's taking me a while, longer than I'd say an average person. Little shit like that. And then other things like I'll tend to finish people's sentences before I'll finish it before they even know what they're saying. It's a weird, like I said, it's a weird condition, weird disconnect, and there's a little tiny bit of social anxiety thrown in there. And yeah, cigarettes help with social anxiety. That the nicotine, just the drug nicotine, not all the other crap that's in cigarettes, sort of changes the shape of the brain. It makes it more closer to a normal brain. So the shape of my brain is different, and then with the use of nicotine, it changes the shape, which I find quite interesting. And so you can see that, yes, maybe a lot of people out there that smoke, they definitely have some sort of anxiety, social anxiety, or some sort of minor condition like what I have. And if you're like, it's always this it's like this society that doesn't allow any negativity at all, and then it winds up the reverse happens where there's tons of negativity, because it's like if you're paying attention and if you're a little bit introspective and you're looking at things and you're dissecting things just a little bit, there's a lot to have anxiety about. There's a lot to be depressed about. There's a lot of stuff going on in our world right now that's, problematic, right? People in unfortunate situations and tragedies and blah, blah, blah. Could go on all day about it. Don't even need to get into specifics. And yeah, if you're not getting some sort of anxiety, if you're not getting some sort of a little tiny bit of depression, if you're not getting at least a symptom, if you're not angry, if you're not, like I said, depressed or a little bit anxious or about something, then you're not paying attention. And I really doubt that you're a very moral or good person. I think to be truly, truly happy in this world, you kind of have to put the blinders on, like what they do with a horse, right? And just not look at stuff and not, almost sociopathic, no introspection, self-doubt, or any sort of pause, no pause, introspection, or self-doubt at all whatsoever. But yeah, I find that this actually does help me to be more sociable. It lessens my anxiety. So I've been put on a new medication, Zyprexa, to sleep, because I've been dipping into the marijuana a little bit too much. And it's sort of, yes, it's interfering with my productivity. Like even last night, I sort of just get in these moods where I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just going to get high and go to bed. And it's not very good. But I have projects. I'm keeping myself busy. But I've been doing a lot of thinking. I made a video on the subject before, but about friendships and my relationships with people. And it seems that, yes, even people of a similar perspective that are anti-natalists, just because we're anti-natalist doesn't mean we're not assholes, that we're still assholes. Like, I foresee a schism happening within that community of sort of filtering out the anti-natalists and then filtering out the nihilists, the nihilists. And I think there are a lot of nihilists that are, that are just by default anti-natalist in the sense that they don't have children or they just pursue their own life. Like I said, they don't have kids, but they're not philosophically what we want out of people. We're not good soldiers. And I'm going to say this about myself too, that for the longest time and even still now, like, I'm not very good for the cause. I'm not very good at promoting these ideas or getting people to change their mind, or, I'm working on it. But yes, ultimately it's sort of like we just wind up pursuing our own little selfish crap. So I got projects going on where I'm trying to make more money. And what I hope to do is make enough money to start up a foundation where this foundation is gonna be sort of like Project Prevention, which I don't know, you might have heard of it. It's like a charity that gives people money to get sterilized. Like people that are really fucked up though, like drug addicts, people with lots of problems. and they pay for them to get abortions or sterilized or whatever, and it helps prevent having all of these problem people in the world. And yeah, so I would start up a foundation like that. But the first step is I got to make a lot of money, so I've been getting into doing some courses. I took a course for a while about teaching English, and I was going to continue to teach English and travel overseas, but my health situation is not so good. I might even have an early form of cystic fibrosis. A more mild form, though. There's different forms of it, and yesterday I went in for a thing called a sweat chloride test that's going to confirm to see if I have the beginnings of it or what's going on. And so, well, maybe I only have myself to blame for that, but yeah, so with that, with these health things and just paranoia in general, and how my last forays overseas went, and the fact is, like, I didn't start a blog, I didn't do many videos when I was overseas. I don't know, there was just a disconnect. I just got so caught up in Vietnam, and I just got so caught up in China, and just got caught up in all of it. I did take pictures and stuff, but all of it sort of pains me because I associate it with people that I'm never going to see again, and people that were in my life that are, they're gone now. They're dead. Maybe they're not, some of them are not literally dead, but it's over. And so I couldn't keep doing it. I can't keep doing it. So I've been trying to figure out what to do. And then I've settled now on doing real estate. I've just finished up some courses, and at the beginning of October, the Thanksgiving weekend, I'm doing like a mentorship. So I got to do, fill out all these forms. I'm going to meet this guy, and for 3 days, he's sort of going to hold my hand and tell me what to do. I have like a little team in place. I got a realtor. I got a mortgage broker. I got all that stuff, and I'm going to get like an income